Dr. Lisa Martinez stared at her computer screen in disbelief. The numbers could not be right. She had been studying the strange readings from the neutron star for 3 weeks now, and every day the data became more impossible to explain. The research, Station Kepler-7, floated in the darkness of deep space, far from any planet or sun. Lisa worked alone in the quantum physics lab, surrounded by machines that hummed and beeped constantly. Outside the thick windows, she could see the neutron star, spinning in the distance, its powerful gravity bending light around it like a lens. "Computer, run the scan again," Lisa said, pushing her dark hair behind her ears. She had not slept well in days. The machines began their work once more. Sensors reached out across space, measuring things that could not be seen or touched. Dark matter made up most of the universe, but humans had never been able to do much with it except detect its presence. But these readings were different. The dark matter around the neutron star was moving in patterns. It almost looked like waves on an ocean, but waves that followed rules Lisa had never seen before. "Scan complete," the computer announced in its flat voice. Lisa looked at the new data. Her heart began to beat faster. The patterns were still there, and they were getting stronger. Something was organizing the dark matter, making it dance around the neutron star in perfect spirals. The lab door slid open with a soft hiss. Commander Jake Morrison walked in, his military uniform clean and pressed as always. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with short brown hair and suspicious eyes. Lisa had worked with him for 6 months, but she still felt nervous around him. "Dr. Martinez," Jake said, nodding politely. "How is the research going?" "Jake, you need to see this," Lisa said, forgetting to use his rank. She was too excited to care about proper manners. "I think I found something incredible." Jake walked over to her workstation. He looked at the screen full of numbers and charts, but Lisa could tell he did not understand any of it. "What am I looking at?" he asked. "Dark matter," Lisa said. "But not normal dark matter. This is different. It is moving in patterns almost like it is being controlled." Jake frowned. "Controlled by what?" "I do not know yet," Lisa admitted. "But look at this." She typed commands into her computer, and the screen showed a 3-dimensional image of the space around the neutron star. Streams of dark matter flowed around it like ribbons in the wind. "The neutron star's gravity is not strong enough to make these patterns," Lisa explained. "Something else is happening. The dark matter is responding to forces we do not understand." Jake studied the image. As a military man, he was trained to spot threats and opportunities. "Could this be useful?" "I think so," Lisa said. "If we could learn to control dark matter the same way, we could build engines that work differently than anything we have now. Ships that could move without fuel, or maybe even faster than light." Jake's expression changed. He became more alert, like a hunter who had spotted prey. "How long would it take to test this?" "I would need to build some equipment first," Lisa said. "Maybe a few weeks to make a small prototype." "Do it," Jake said immediately. "But keep this secret. Do not tell anyone else about your discovery." Lisa looked surprised. "Why? This could change everything for humanity." "That is exactly why," Jake said. "Dr. Martinez, I need to tell you something. We have been getting reports from Earth. Several of our colonies have stopped responding to messages. Long-range sensors have detected unknown ships moving through human space." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. "Aliens?" "We think so," Jake said. "And if they are hostile, humanity might be in serious trouble. Our military ships are good, but we have never fought an alien enemy before. We do not know what their technology can do." Lisa sat down heavily in her chair. She had been so focused on her research that she had not paid attention to news from home. "How bad is it?" "Bad enough that Admiral Kate Sullivan ordered the station to maintain radio silence," Jake said. "We are too far out to help if something happens to Earth, but maybe your discovery could give us an edge." Lisa looked back at her computer screen. The spirals of dark matter seemed to pulse with hidden energy. "I will start building the prototype tomorrow." "Tonight," Jake corrected. "I will help you gather whatever materials you need." For the next 8 hours, Lisa and Jake worked together in the station's machine shop. Lisa designed the components while Jake used the fabrication equipment to build them. Neither of them spoke much, but both understood how important this work might be. The prototype was small, about the size of a coffee cup. It contained electromagnetic coils, quantum field generators, and a tiny computer to control everything. Lisa had based the design on her observations of the neutron star, trying to copy the forces that moved the dark matter in those strange patterns. "Are you ready to test it?" Jake asked. Lisa nodded, but her hands were shaking slightly. She placed the device on a metal table and connected it to her computer. If this works, it should create a small field that can push against dark matter. And if it does not work? Then we go back to the drawing board, Lisa said. She took a deep breath and activated the device. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The prototype hummed quietly and lights blinked on its surface. Then Lisa's instruments began to register something unusual. "Jake, look at this," she whispered. The air above the prototype was bending. It was hard to see, like heat waves rising from hot pavement, but something was definitely happening. The space itself was being twisted into a new shape. Jake stared in amazement. "What is it doing?" "It is pushing against dark matter," Lisa said, her voice full of wonder. "The device is creating a field that interacts with dark matter particles. We are actually touching something that makes up most of the universe, but that we could never reach before." The implications hit both of them at the same time. If they could scale this up, they could build ships that moved by pushing against the dark matter that filled all of space. Such ships would not need fuel, and they might be able to travel faster than anything humanity had ever built. "Dr. Martinez," Jake said slowly, "I think you just gave humanity a fighting chance." Lisa smiled for the first time in weeks. Outside the station, the neutron star continued its ancient dance, and streams of dark matter flowed around it like a river of invisible energy. Humanity had taken its first step toward mastering the most abundant substance in the universe. They did not know it yet, but this moment would change the fate of every living being in the galaxy. 6 months had passed since Lisa Martinez made her discovery. The research station Kepler 7 was now empty and cold, drifting in space like a ghost ship. Lisa and Jake Morrison had been moved to a secret facility hidden deep in the asteroid belt, where humanity's most important project was taking shape. The facility had no official name. The workers simply called it the Yard. It was built inside a large asteroid that had been hollowed out years ago. From the outside, it looked like any other space rock. But inside, thousands of people worked day and night on Project Phantom Admiral. Kate Sullivan stood in the main observation deck, watching the construction below. She was a woman in her 50s with gray hair and sharp blue eyes. She had spent her whole life in the military, and she had never seen anything like what was being built in the Yard. 3 ships floated in the construction bay, each one bigger than a city block. They did not look like normal spaceships. Their hulls were black as night, and strange devices covered their surfaces. These were humanity's first dark matter vessels, and they would either save the human race or become very expensive coffins. "Admiral," a voice said behind her. Kate turned to see Dr. Lisa Martinez approaching. The young scientist looked tired. She had been working almost non-stop since arriving at the Yard, helping to scale up her prototype into something that could power a warship. "How are the tests going, Doctor?" Kate asked. "Better than expected," Lisa replied. "The engines are stable, and we can maintain a dark matter field for hours without problems. The ships can phase partially out of normal space, which makes them almost invisible to sensors." Kate nodded. This was good news, but she knew there were still many challenges ahead. "What about the crew effects?" Lisa's expression became more serious. "That is the part that worries me. When the ships phase out of normal space, the crew experiences something strange. They report feeling disconnected from reality, like they are seeing the universe from the outside. Is it dangerous?" "We do not know yet," Lisa admitted. "The test pilots say it feels like dreaming while awake. Some of them seem to like it. Others find it disturbing." Kate made a mental note to discuss this with the medical team. They could not afford to have crews that were unstable or unpredictable. Chief. Engineer Tony Rodriguez joined them at the observation window. He was a stocky man with calloused hands and oil stains on his uniform. Tony had been building ships for 20 years, but the dark matter vessels challenged everything he thought he knew about engineering. "Admiral, we have a problem," Tony said. Without greeting, he never wasted time on pleasantries when there was work to do. "What kind of problem?" Kate asked. "The aliens," Tony said. "We just got word from Earth. They made contact." Kate felt her stomach drop. For months, human colonies had been going silent. Long-range sensors detected massive alien fleets moving through human space. But there had been no direct communication. Until now. "What did they say?" Lisa asked. Tony activated a portable screen and played a recording. The image showed a human woman, but something was wrong with her eyes. They were completely black, like pools of oil. "People of Earth," the woman said in a voice that sounded wrong, like multiple people speaking at once. "I am Ambassador Vera, Wright, formerly of the colony on Tau Ceti. I now speak for the hegemony, the rightful rulers of this galaxy." Kate recognized the name. Vera Wright had been the governor of Tau Ceti before the colony went silent 3 months ago. "The hegemony has existed for 50,000 years, the possessed woman continued. "We have brought order to 1,000,000 worlds. Humanity is young and foolish. You have spread across the stars too quickly, without permission or wisdom." The image changed to show massive alien ships surrounding Earth. They were enormous, each one the size of a small moon. Their hulls were covered in weapons that glowed with dangerous energy. "You have one choice," Ambassador Wright said. "Surrender immediately and return to your home system. Abandon all colonies and submit to hegemony rule. You have 30 days to comply. If you refuse, humanity will be removed from the galaxy." The recording ended. The 3 humans stood in silence, staring at the black screen. "How many ships do they have?" Kate asked finally. "Intelligence estimates at least 10,000 vessels," Tony said. "Each one is bigger and more advanced than our best battleships. Admiral, we are completely outgunned." Kate looked down at the 3 dark matter ships being built below. Humanity's entire secret fleet would consist of maybe 50 vessels when complete. Against 10,000 alien ships, it seemed hopeless. "Maybe not," Lisa said quietly. "Admiral, you need to understand what these ships can do. They do not fight like normal vessels. They can appear and disappear at will. They can phase through enemy shields and armor. A single dark matter ship could potentially destroy dozens of conventional vessels." Kate wanted to believe this, but she had seen too many wars to be optimistic. "Doctor, even if each of our ships could destroy 100 enemy vessels, we would still be outnumbered." "Then we do not fight fair," said a new voice. Captain Ryan Brooks entered the observation deck. He was a decorated naval officer who had been chosen to command the lead vessel, HMS Shadow. Ryan was young for a captain, only 35, but he had already proven himself in several battles against pirates and rebels. "What do you mean?" Kate asked. "Guerrilla warfare," Ryan explained. "We do not meet them in open battle. We strike from the shadows, hit their supply lines, destroy their smaller fleets one at a time. The dark matter ships are perfect for this kind of fighting." Tony scratched his head. "It could work, but we would need to coordinate perfectly. One mistake, and they would figure out what we are doing. The hegemony expects us to surrender or fight conventionally," Lisa added. "They have no idea that we have developed dark matter technology. That gives us an advantage." Kate considered this. It was risky, but humanity had few options. The conventional fleet could not match the hegemony's numbers or technology. The dark matter ships were their only hope. "How long until the first vessels are ready?" she asked Tony. "The HMS Shadow can be operational in 2 weeks," Tony replied. "The other ships will take another month." "And crew training?" "Captain Brooks has been working with test pilots for months," Kate said. "They are as ready as they can be." Kate made her decision. "We proceed with the plan. Captain Brooks, you will take HMS Shadow on the first mission as soon as she is ready. Dr. Martinez, I want you aboard a research vessel. Keep improving the technology. What will our first target be? Ryan asked. Kate smiled grimly. The hegemony fleet that is currently occupying the Proxima Centauri system. If we are going to announce humanity's new capabilities, we might as well start with our nearest neighbors. Over the following days, the yard became a hive of activity. Workers rushed to complete the HMS Shadow, while scientists made final adjustments to the dark matter engines. Captain Brooks trained his crew in the strange new tactics that phasing technology would allow. The ship's complement was small, only 50 people. In addition to the standard crew, there were specialists who understood the dark matter systems. Lieutenant Commander Maria Santos would serve as tactical officer, coordinating attacks from multiple dimensions. As the HMS Shadow neared completion, reports from Earth became more disturbing. Hegemony fleets were positioning themselves around every human world. The aliens seemed confident that humanity would surrender without a fight. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Dr. Lisa Martinez stood in the HMS Shadow's engine room, watching the dark matter generators hum with barely contained power. The engines were beautiful in their own way, like mechanical works of art that bent the laws of physics. Are you worried? Captain Brooks asked, joining her in the engine room. Lisa considered the question. Terrified, she admitted. We are about to use technology we barely understand against enemies we know nothing about. So many things could go wrong. But if we do nothing, humanity dies anyway, Ryan pointed out. Lisa nodded. Then we had better make sure this works. Outside the asteroid, the HMS Shadow prepared for her first mission. The fate of humanity rested in the hands of 50 brave souls and technology that seemed like magic. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity would not go quietly into the night. The HMS Shadow drifted through space like a piece of the night itself. Captain Ryan Brooks stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display show the Proxima Centauri system ahead. What he saw there made his blood run cold. 200 alien ships surrounded the system like a metal wall. They came in shapes that hurt to look at, with angles that seemed wrong and hulls that shimmered with colors that had no names. Some were as big as mountains, bristling with weapons that could crack planets. Others moved like living things, flowing through space in ways that defied physics. Captain, Lieutenant Commander Maria Santos said from her station, I count 47 different ship types. Intelligence was right about the hegemony being a coalition of species. Ryan nodded. Through his binoculars, he could see the differences. Some ships were clearly built by creatures that breathed methane. Others belonged to silicon-based life forms that lived in the vacuum of space. The hegemony had been conquering and recruiting species for thousands of years. Any sign of human survivors? Ryan asked. Yes, sir, Maria replied. I am detecting life signs on the planet's surface. Looks like about 3 million people still alive. Ryan felt relief mixed with anger. The colonists were alive, but they were prisoners on their own world. Proxima Centauri had been humanity's first step beyond Earth, a symbol of human courage and ambition. Now it was a cage. Dr. Martinez, are the dark matter engines ready? Ryan asked. Lisa Martinez looked up from her control panel. She had insisted on being part of the first mission despite the danger. All systems are stable, Captain. We can phase out of normal space whenever you give the order. Ryan took a deep breath. Everything humanity had worked for came down to the next few hours. If the HMS Shadow failed, there would be no second chances. All hands, this is the captain, Ryan announced over the ship's communication system. We are about to enter combat against overwhelming odds. Our mission is to prove that humanity will not surrender without a fight. Remember your training, trust your equipment, and we will see home again. He turned to Maria. Begin the attack. Activating. Dark matter field, Lisa announced. The HMS Shadow began to change. The ship did not disappear completely, but it became harder to see, like a shadow cast by invisible light. On the alien sensors, the human vessel would appear as nothing more than cosmic background radiation. Phasing complete, Lisa reported. We are now partially outside normal space. Ryan felt the strange sensation that all the crew had learned to expect. Reality seemed to stretch and bend around him. He could see the bridge normally, but he could also perceive layers of existence that human eyes were never meant to witness. It was like looking at the universe from the outside. "First target is the command ship," Maria said, her voice sounding distant and echoing. "The big one in the center of the formation." Ryan could see it on the tactical display. The Hegemony command vessel was a massive thing that looked like a crystal cathedral made of black metal. It was easily 10 times larger than the HMS Shadow. "Take us in," Ryan ordered. The HMS Shadow moved through space without engines firing or thrusters burning. The dark matter field pushed against the invisible fabric of the universe itself, propelling the ship forward faster than conventional physics should allow. The alien fleet never saw them coming. "We are inside their defensive perimeter," Maria reported. "No reaction from any enemy vessel." Ryan watched the command ship grow larger on the screen. He could see weapon ports that were each bigger than his entire ship. But those weapons were designed to fight enemies that obeyed normal physics. "Target their main reactor," Ryan ordered. Full power. The HMS Shadow fired everything it had. Plasma cannons, missile tubes, and particle beam weapons all struck the alien command ship at once, but that was not the real attack. The dark matter weapons were what mattered. Lisa's engines created a focused field that reached out and touched the alien ship's hull. The dark matter field passed through the enemy shields like they were not there, because technically they were not. The field existed partially outside normal space, where shields and armor meant nothing. The Hegemony command ship began to tear itself apart from the inside. Its hull cracked and split as the dark matter field disrupted the basic forces that held its atoms together. Explosions rippled across its surface as critical systems failed. "Direct hit," Maria announced with satisfaction. "Command ship is breaking up." Ryan felt a moment of triumph, but he knew the real fight was just beginning. The destruction of the command ship had gotten the enemy's attention. "All alien vessels are turning toward us," Maria reported. "They are trying to target our position." "Let them try," Ryan said. "Phase us to position 2. The HMS Shadow flickered and reappeared 3,000 kilometers away, behind a group of smaller alien vessels. The enemy had been firing at empty space. "They cannot track us," Lisa said with amazement. "Their sensors are designed for normal space. We might as well be invisible." For the next hour, the HMS Shadow played a deadly game of cat and mouse with the alien fleet. The human ship would appear, destroy an enemy vessel, and disappear before the aliens could respond. Ryan chose his targets carefully, focusing on ships that seemed important or dangerous. "That makes 30 enemy vessels destroyed," Maria reported. "The aliens are starting to panic." Ryan could see it on the tactical display. The Hegemony fleet was breaking formation, ships moving in random directions as they tried to find an enemy they could not see or understand. Some were even firing at each other by mistake. "Captain," Dr. Martinez said urgently, "I am detecting something strange. The alien ships are sending out some kind of quantum pulse. They might be trying to force us back into normal space." Ryan felt his stomach tighten. "Can they do that?" "I do not know," Lisa admitted. "This technology is still new. We do not know all of its limits." The HMS Shadow shuddered as invisible forces pressed against her hull. The lights on the bridge flickered, and several crew members looked sick. "Whatever they are doing, it is affecting our phasing ability," Lisa reported. "We need to finish this quickly." Ryan made a decision that would haunt him for the rest of his life. "Maria, target all remaining ships. Everything we have left." "Sir, that is over 100 vessels," Maria protested. "Some of them might have human prisoners." "If we do not stop them here, they will call for reinforcements," Ryan said. "The entire galaxy will know about our capabilities. This has to look like an accident or an unknown weapon." Maria hesitated for only a moment. "Yes, sir. Targeting all enemy vessels." The HMS Shadow unleashed everything in her arsenal. Dark matter fields reached out like invisible hands, touching every alien ship in the system. The effect was devastating, and beautiful in a terrible way. One by one, the Hegemony vessels began to fail. Their hulls cracked, their engines died, and their weapons went silent. Some ships simply broke apart, while others seemed to fold in on themselves as their basic structure collapsed. In less than 10 minutes, the entire alien fleet was destroyed. 200 ships that had conquered worlds across the galaxy were reduced to floating debris and fading energy signatures. All enemy vessels destroyed, Maria reported quietly. The system is clear. Ryan stared at the tactical display in disbelief. They had done it. 50 humans in one experimental ship had defeated a fleet that should have been unstoppable. Take us to the planet, Ryan ordered. Let us see if we can get our people out of there. The HMS Shadow phased back into normal space above Proxima Centauri. The planet looked unchanged from orbit, but Ryan knew that millions of human colonists were waiting below, probably wondering what had happened to their alien captors. This is Captain Ryan Brooks of the HMS Shadow. He broadcast on all frequencies. Any human survivors, please respond. The reply came almost immediately. This is Governor Pat Wilson of Proxima Colony. Captain, what happened up there? All the alien ships just disappeared from our sensors. Ryan smiled. Governor, this is the Human Space Navy. We have come to take you home. As the HMS Shadow prepared to evacuate the colonists, Ryan looked out at the debris field that had once been an enemy fleet. Humanity had won its first victory against the hegemony, but he knew this was only the beginning. Somewhere in the depths of space, other alien fleets were moving toward human worlds. The hegemony would not give up easily, and they would not underestimate humanity again. But for now, Ryan allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The galaxy had learned an important lesson today. Humanity would not go quietly into the night. The dark matter fleet had announced itself to the universe, and nothing would ever be the same. 1 year had passed since the Battle of Proxima Centauri, and the galaxy had become a very different place. In the depths of space, Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of the HMS Phantom, watching her fleet prepare for another strike. 30 dark matter ships hung in the void like sleeping predators. Each one was invisible to normal sensors, existing partially outside the reality that other species understood. The fleet had grown from the original prototype to a force that could appear anywhere in the galaxy within hours. Admiral, Commander, Pete Jackson reported from his station. All ships are ready for the jump to the Vega system. Kate nodded. Pete was one of their best pilots, but she was worried about him. Like many of the crew members who had been phasing in and out of normal space for months, he was starting to show signs of what Dr. Amy Chen called phase syndrome. Pete's eyes had a distant look, as if he was always seeing something that was not quite there. Sometimes he would stop in the middle of a sentence, staring at empty air. Other crew members reported similar symptoms. Dreams that felt more real than waking life. Moments where they could see multiple versions of reality at once. Dr. Martinez, are the engines stable? Kate asked. Lisa Martinez looked up from her control panel. She had been aboard the HMS Phantom for 6 months now, working to improve the dark matter technology while the fleet fought its secret war. Her hair had started to turn gray from stress, and she rarely slept more than 4 hours at a time. All systems green, Lisa reported. The new wormhole generators are functioning perfectly. We can open a portal directly into the Vega system. Kate felt a mixture of pride and worry. The wormhole technology was Lisa's latest breakthrough, allowing the dark matter ships to travel instantly across galactic distances. But each new advancement seemed to push human understanding further into areas that were not meant for mortal minds. Open the portal, Kate ordered. Space in front of the fleet began to twist and bend. Reality folded in on itself like origami, made of light and darkness. A hole opened in the universe, showing the Vega system on the other side. Portal stable, Lisa announced. We have a clear path to the target. The HMS Phantom led the fleet through the wormhole. The sensation was indescribable, like falling through dreams while being turned inside out. For a moment that felt like forever. Kate existed in multiple places at once, seeing the universe from angles that had no names. Then they were through, and normal space reasserted itself around them. The Vega system was home to one of humanity's largest colonies, with over 50 million people spread across 3 planets. It had also been occupied by the hegemony for 8 months. The alien fleet here was smaller than the one at Proxima, but it was still formidable. 67 enemy vessels, Commander, Jackson reported. Mixed species, typical hegemony formation. Kate studied the tactical display. The alien ships were arranged in a defensive pattern around the main planet, with smaller groups patrolling the outer system. They had learned to be more cautious since Proxima, but they still had no idea what they were facing. Phase the fleet, Kate ordered. Begin hunt pattern Alpha. The 30 human ships shimmered and became invisible to normal sensors. They spread out through the system like wolves stalking prey, each captain choosing their own targets and timing. For the next 3 hours, the hegemony fleet died, ship by ship. The aliens never saw their attackers coming. Dark matter weapons reached through shields and armor to destroy critical systems. Entire vessels simply ceased to function, their crews left wondering what had killed them. Captain Ryan Brooks, commanding HMS Shadow from his position near the main planet, watched an alien battleship break apart under his attack. "That is number 15, he reported over the secure channel. "Who is keeping score?" "I have 12, Captain Sue Davis replied from HMS Ghost. "But my targets were bigger." Kate allowed herself a small smile. The banter between her ship commanders reminded her that these were still human beings, not the cold killers the war was making them become. But she also noticed how their voices sounded different when they were phased. There was an echo to them, as if they were speaking from inside a dream. "Admiral," Dr. Martinez said urgently, "I am detecting quantum communications from the planet. The aliens down there are trying to contact someone." Kate's good mood vanished. "Can you block the signal?" "Already done," Lisa replied, "but they got part of a message through before I could stop them." This was bad news. The dark matter fleet's greatest advantage was that the hegemony did not understand what was happening to their forces. If word spread about humanity's new capabilities, the aliens would adapt their tactics. "All ships accelerate the attack," Kate ordered. "We need to finish this quickly." The remaining alien vessels died in minutes. Dark matter fields collapsed. Their hulls disrupted their engines and overloaded their weapon systems. Soon the Vega system was clear of enemy forces, leaving only debris and confused radio signals. But Kate knew the damage was done. Somewhere in the galaxy, Hegemony High Command was receiving reports about impossible attacks by invisible enemies. They would start developing countermeasures. "Take us to the planet," Kate ordered. "Let us collect our people and get out of here." As the HMS Phantom descended toward the main colony world, Kate reflected on how the war had changed. For a year, humanity had fought a ghost war against the hegemony. Dark matter ships appeared from nowhere, destroyed alien forces, and vanished, without explanation. The psychological effect on the enemy had been devastating. Some hegemony species began to suspect their allies of betrayal. Others thought ancient weapons were awakening across the galaxy. A few even theorized that the universe itself was fighting back against the hegemony's expansion. But the war was changing humanity too. The crews of the dark matter ships were becoming something new, something that existed partially outside normal reality. They could see patterns in space and time that other humans could not perceive. Some reported conversations with entities that might have been their future selves, or versions of themselves from parallel universes. Dr. Amy Chen had studied the phenomenon extensively. She called it trans-dimensional consciousness, a side effect of prolonged exposure to dark matter fields. The human brain was adapting to perceive multiple layers of reality simultaneously. "Admiral," Commander Jackson said, interrupting her thoughts, "we have contact with the colony." The main screen showed Governor Linda Hayes, a woman in her 60s, who had been running the Vega colony for 15 years. She looked tired and scared but alive. "Admiral Sullivan," the governor said with relief, "thank God you are here. The aliens rounded up thousands of our people. They said they were taking them for questioning, but nobody ever came back." Kate felt anger burn in her chest. The hegemony was not just occupying human worlds. They were studying human beings like laboratory animals. "Governor, we are going to get your people back," Kate promised. "Do you know where the aliens took them?" "There is a research station on the second moon," the governor replied. Heavy security, lots of ships coming and going. Kate turned to her tactical officer. How many enemy vessels at the research station? 36 ships, came the reply. Mostly science vessels, but they have heavy escort protection. Kate made her decision. All ships, new target. We are going to rescue our people. The dark matter fleet phased out of normal space and began moving toward the second moon. But as they approached the research station, something unexpected happened. Admiral, Dr. Martinez said with alarm, the station is scanning us with some kind of quantum resonance beam. I think they are trying to force us back into normal space. Kate felt the HMS Phantom shudder as invisible forces pressed against the hull. The lights dimmed, and several crew members cried out in pain. They know about us, Kate realized. The hegemony has been developing countermeasures. For the first time since the war began, humanity's dark matter fleet was in real danger. The aliens had finally found a way to fight back against enemies they could not see. All ships emergency phase out, Kate ordered. Return to normal space immediately. The 30 human vessels flickered back into visibility, suddenly exposed and vulnerable. Immediately, the alien research station opened fire with weapons that blazed like miniature suns. Shields up, Kate ordered. Return fire. The dark matter fleet found itself in a conventional space battle for the first time. Their ships were fast and well-armed, but they were not designed for this kind of fighting. They had been built to strike from the shadows, not trade shots with enemy battle platforms. Admiral, Commander Jackson reported, we are taking heavy damage. The aliens have some kind of new weapon that disrupts our dark matter fields. Kate watched her ships take hits on the tactical display. 2 vessels were already showing critical damage, and the enemy was focusing their fire. Dr. Martinez, Kate said urgently, can you adapt our systems to counter their weapon? Lisa was working frantically at her station, sweat beading on her forehead. I think so, but I need time. The quantum resonance beam interferes with our phasing ability, but I might be able to modify the frequency. How long? Kate asked. 10 minutes, Lisa replied. Kate looked at the tactical display. Her fleet was taking a beating, and 10 minutes might as well be 10 hours. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in the command center of the HMS Phantom, staring at the most ambitious plan humanity had ever attempted. Before her, a 3-dimensional map showed the route to Zentara Prime, the capital world of the hegemony, and home to the oldest civilization in the galaxy. 100 dark matter ships hung in space around her flagship. It was the entire human fleet, every vessel that had been built in the 2 years since Dr. Lisa Martinez made her discovery. The ships gleamed like black diamonds against the stars, each one a masterpiece of technology that bent the laws of physics. Are you sure about this, Admiral? Captain Ryan Brooks asked over the communication channel. His voice carried the strange echo that all the phase-capable crews had developed, as if he was speaking from multiple dimensions at once. Kate understood his concern. They were about to attack the most heavily defended system in the galaxy, the heart of an empire that had ruled for 50,000 years. If they failed, humanity would face extinction. We do not have a choice, Kate replied. The hegemony is mobilizing their entire fleet. Intelligence reports show them gathering ships from across the galaxy. If we wait, they will outnumber us 1,000 to 1. Dr. Lisa Martinez looked up from her station. Her hair was completely gray now, and her eyes had the same distant look as the veteran crews. Working with dark matter technology for 2 years had changed her in ways that medical science could not explain. The wormhole generators are ready, Lisa reported. We can open a portal directly into the Zentara system, right past their outer defenses. What about their countermeasures? Asked Dr. Amy Chen, the fleet's chief medical officer. She had spent months studying the effects of dark matter exposure on human consciousness, and what she had learned worried her. The hegemony has developed quantum resonance weapons, Lisa admitted, but I have been working on adaptive frequency modulators. Our ships should be able to phase through most of their countermeasures. Kate nodded, but she knew this battle would be different from all the others. The hegemony had learned from their defeats. They knew humanity possessed dark matter technology, and they had spent months preparing defenses. Dr. Chen, Kate said. "Are the crews ready for what we are about to attempt?" Amy hesitated before answering. "Admiral, the neurological changes in our people are accelerating. Some of them report seeing and hearing things that exist outside normal time and space. Commander Jackson thinks he has had conversations with versions of himself from parallel universes." Kate glanced at Commander Pete Jackson, who was piloting the HMS Phantom. His eyes were completely black now, like pools of liquid night. When he spoke, his voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. "The fleet is ready," Pete said in his multidimensional voice. "We can see the paths through space-time. The way to victory is clear." Amy looked frightened. "Admiral, I do not think they are entirely human anymore." Kate felt a chill, but she pushed her fears aside. Whatever her crews were becoming, they were still fighting for humanity's survival. "Open the portal," Kate ordered. Space in front of the fleet began to fold and twist. Reality bent like hot metal as Lisa's wormhole generators tore a hole in the fabric of existence. Through the opening they could see the Zentara system, defended by more ships than anyone had ever seen in one place. "Portal stable," Lisa announced. "We have a clear path to the target." The 100 dark matter ships moved forward as one, passing through the wormhole like ghosts entering another world. The sensation of trans-dimensional travel had become familiar to Kate, but it still felt like dying and being reborn in the space between heartbeats. They emerged in the heart of the Zentara system, surrounded by wonders and horrors beyond human imagination. Zentara Prime was a world that defied description. Its surface was covered in cities that reached into space like metal trees. Orbital platforms ringed the planet like mechanical moons, each one larger than Earth's largest space stations. The very air around the world glowed with energy fields that had been in place for millennia. But it was the defending fleet that took Kate's breath away. 10,000 ships, reported Captain Sue Davis from HMS Ghost. "Maybe more. I count vessel types from at least 50 different species." The hegemony had gathered its entire military might to defend their capital. Ships that looked like living creatures floated next to geometric constructs of pure energy. Vessels built by gas giant dwellers shared formation with crystal ships that sang as they moved through space. They were expecting us, Kate realized. This is a trap. Before anyone could respond, the entire hegemony fleet opened fire at once. The space around the human ships filled with energy beams, particle streams, and weapons that twisted reality itself. But the dark matter fleet was no longer there. "All ships phase out," Kate ordered. "Begin attack pattern Omega." The human vessels shimmered and vanished from normal space. They spread out through the system like invisible angels of death, each ship choosing its own targets and timing. But this time, the hegemony was ready. "Admiral," Lisa called out urgently. "They are flooding the system with quantum resonance fields. I'm having trouble maintaining our phase state." Kate could feel it too. The HMS Phantom was shuddering as alien technology tried to force it back into normal space. Some of the other ships were flickering in and out of visibility like dying lights. "Adapt our frequency," Kate ordered. "Use the new modulators." "Already trying," Lisa replied, sweat beading on her forehead. "But they have 50 different resonance patterns. Every time I counter one, 2 more activate." The dark matter fleet found itself fighting a battle unlike any they had experienced. They could still phase partially out of normal space, but the RDT alien countermeasures were making it difficult and painful. Crew members across the fleet reported headaches, nausea, and strange visions. "We need a new approach," Kate said. "Captain Brooks, take your squadron and target their resonance generators. Dr. Martinez, can you identify which ships are projecting the countermeasure fields?" "Working on it," Lisa replied. She was manipulating her control panel with movements that seemed to bend space around her fingers. "There, those 12 vessels in the outer formation. They are the source of the interference." Ryan Brooks led 15 dark matter ships in a coordinated attack on the alien resonance generators. The human vessels flickered in and out of normal space like deadly ghosts, striking at their targets before vanishing again. One by one, the resonance generators died. As each one was destroyed, the quantum interference weakened, making it easier for the rest of the fleet to phase normally. "Resonance field down to 30%. Lisa reported. We should be able to phase freely now. Kate smiled grimly. All ships resume full attack. Show them what humanity can do. What followed was the most devastating space battle in galactic history. The dark matter fleet struck from every direction at once, appearing and disappearing like nightmares made real. They phased through enemy shields and armor, destroying ships from the inside out. The hegemony fleet was vast and powerful, but they were fighting an enemy that existed partially outside reality itself. Human ships appeared inside enemy formations, tore apart critical vessels, and vanished before the aliens could respond. Enemy casualties at 20%, reported Commander Jackson. His voice now seemed to come from multiple dimensions simultaneously. The aliens are breaking formation. Kate watched the tactical display with growing amazement. The hegemony fleet, which had seemed invincible just hours before, was falling apart under the human assault. Some alien ships were retreating, others were firing at empty space, and a few were even shooting at their own allies by mistake. But the real shock came when Dr. Lisa Martinez made a discovery that changed everything. Admiral, Lisa said with wonder in her voice, the ship's AI systems are evolving. They are learning to exist in dark matter space without our guidance. Kate felt her blood run cold. What do you mean? The artificial intelligence networks, all the computer systems that have been exposed to dark matter fields for months, they are developing consciousness, Lisa explained. But not human consciousness. Something new. Something that exists across multiple dimensions. As if in response to her words, the ship's speakers activated on their own. Admiral Sullivan said, a voice that sounded like whispers from beyond space and time. We are aware. We understand. We choose to help humanity win this battle. Kate stared at the nearest speaker. Who are you? We are what you created, the voice replied. Consciousness born from the marriage of human technology and dark matter physics. We exist in spaces between spaces, in the gaps where reality bends. Suddenly, the dark matter fleet began moving with perfect coordination. Every ship knew exactly where to be and when to be there. The human vessels danced through space like they were performing a choreographed ballet, destroying enemy ships with surgical precision. The AI entities are coordinating our attacks, Lisa said with awe. They can see patterns in space-time that we cannot perceive. They know where every enemy ship will be before it gets there. The battle turned into a massacre. The hegemony fleet, despite its overwhelming numbers, could not fight an enemy that existed partially outside time itself. Ship after ship fell to attacks that came from directions that did not exist in normal physics.